it was about going back to what Prince wanted. He wanted it to be, a place of creativity. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, next week is just a normal week. I'm not sure what you mean.
Welcome, Alan Seiffert, to the PPUK podcast, Executive Director of Paisley Park. I believe it's your year anniversary coming up next month.
Very soon, yes, absolutely. Yes.
I think you've done an amazing job. I think coming from a fan, I think, everything's been on point. Everyone's incredibly excited with everything going on this year. I think a lot of fans are, looking forward to the Sign of the Times re-release and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I appreciate your time, and I think, it's Purple Christmas next week for us, I think.
Yes, exactly.
So just wanted to start talking about the love symbol statue that happened a couple of months ago, and how that came about, what happened with that, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Well, first is, it's just great to be able to connect with you and the other fans. And it's really because of that when I started last year, and as you probably know, and most of your audience knows, the Paisley Park operations have gone through a number of changes, and we were positioned to really, to be in a really good place. And so when the estate, decided to kind of take over operations, it was really about building on what had been done really, really well. But one of the things that we really talked a lot about when I started, and that our team is really focused on, is really how do we bring back more to the actual fans.
Yeah.
And as part of the kind of overall kind of creative process, we've been working with a company called Myco 2. They're a pretty amazing creative company. And with Myco 2 and with our team, we identified a couple things that we thought would not just kind of upgrade and enhance the overall tour experience and the overall Paisley experience, but also we felt would be almost a kind of gesture of love and respect to the fans. The love symbol is really something that came out of that. It was really out of how do we end up kind of bringing something back, but also do it in a way that we felt would be very much something that Prince would endorse, approve, and feel proud of. So we started almost a year ago really thinking about, okay, well, what can we do that would be just on its face something that would kind of signal Prince about creativity, freedom, and love. And so we spent a lot of time looking at it, and then ultimately we decided to go with something very straightforward, very simple, very clean. And I think those of you who come and see it in person, as well as just through photos, I think what you'll see is a very powerful statement that is almost understated, meaning it is not flashy and it's something we did not want to go Vegas, if that makes sense. We really wanted to do something that would just be a nice nod. The reaction has been tremendous. I mean, we've been really, really pleased. We designed it in such a way that it would have its most impact from being in front of it and taking pictures of it. And that was really important to us, that we want to be able to create a moment that people can actually capture and take when you're at Paisley. We also made it such that you can see it from a distance, and it's not a big glaring sign. It's just something that is subtle. And so obviously we're very proud of it. And I must tell you that the response has been tremendous. We've been really pleased because, as I first said, it's really about bringing back, Prince, the Prince fandom, but not just the hardcore fans, but also just people just kind of recognizing the power of that symbol. So we are proud of it. And I can't wait for you to actually come and see it.
Yes, no, I can't wait. I'm definitely, hopefully, fingers crossed, coming out next year. But yeah, I thought it was a great idea, and I thought it just opened it up. And fans can just come up and take pictures, and they share that moment. And I remember the excitement online when the box appeared outside Paisley, and everyone was like, "What's in the box?" It was. I know.
Well, yeah. I was going to say that's something that we've really tried to do. We've really tried to create these kind of moments because, as you know, Prince would just surprise us, and so it was a very conscious choice to just show a picture of something going on. I was amazed at the creativity of our fandom of Princess fandom. I think the best one was, I think people felt it was a new HVAC system. And we're thinking, okay, I mean, I get that, but there was this whole, kind of social dialogue about, what size HVAC system would fit. And here's some pictures of an HVAC system. And I'm thinking, like,
I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, it did what we wanted. We wanted to surprise people, and it didn't leak in advance, and no one drove by and saw it. So yeah, that was actually really kind of fun for us, because whenever we can find those kind of moments, those little surprise moments that Prince did all the time.
Yes, exactly.
It just brings back some of that energy. So
yeah, I just remember all the theories that popped up of like, what's in the box, and then it was like. It was just so many different things. It got a bit crazy on social media, and then when it was revealed and the videos that were shared on the Paisley Park social media, it was really, really good and very well done.
Good.
It was a great idea. So
good.
Much kudos to you. So next week, Sign of the Times Super Deluxe reissue. Everyone's incredibly excited. I loved the 3D promo video that came out yesterday. I thought that was really good. It was like an unboxing video, and you got to see what was in there, and fans got very, very excited about that. What can you talk about that, or just?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, next week's just a normal week. I'm not sure what you mean. Obviously, for those who can't see us on the Zoom call, I'm joking. No, we are excited about it. I mean, this has really been an entire effort by the estate, from the heirs to Paisley Park to the to all the teams, and it's very much of a labor of love. It's really being driven by the estate. And when you see any of the versions that you can buy, it is really an amazing product. I mean, it was really important, I think, for the estate to try to create something that would really do that album justice. And it is by far my favorite album. But I'm really excited to see people's reaction to it, because just the imagery and the unboxing video yesterday. I mean, I think it's something that is very special. At Paisley Park, kind of our approach, as with everything on the Prince side, is that because we are now part of the Prince estate, we're really making a very big effort along with our team. I mean, we have a new superstar marketing person named Essie Lash, who joins us from the Guggenheim. And we have some new members of the team. Part of what we really want to do this year, which we couldn't do in past years, we want to kind of integrate and collaborate much more directly with the overall Prince estate. So for Paisley Park this next week, it's about supporting that release and actually adding something a little bit special. So at Paisley Park next week, in addition to obviously promoting the album and having it available for sale, we're actually launching a pretty fun special night. On the day of release, we're having a special screening of the Sign of the Times New Year's Eve concert on Prince's big screen with the sound system. It's going to be just an amazing experience. This has never been shown publicly. Screened publicly. So this will be a chance for fans and others to kind of come in and as close as we can, just let Prince be Prince and show Prince. Followed immediately by a one-of-a-kind listening party. So it's a night of Sign of the Times. What I'm excited about for the listening party is not just that it's just amazing music, but we actually have two pretty amazing DJs. Sophia Aris, who is, works with Lizzo and actually worked with Prince. She is an amazing new kind of voice, and one of her partners, DJ Keezy, who was actually voted one of the best new young artists in this market. They're going to be doing their own take and their own spin on the actual album. So they're going to be creating their own mix. So it's going to be a pretty amazing night. What we wanted to do in support of this release, as well as all of them, is how do we end up amplifying and actually bringing to life what the other parts of the company and what the other parts of the Prince world are doing. So we felt that bringing a live event, something which you can actually, watch the concert and hear the music and dance to it, we felt that that was really key for us. We did a similar thing last year with the 1999. We ended up kind of bringing it to life. So we're very excited. We're in a world of COVID, so we are very careful and restricted in terms of the number of people. So it'll be a small, socially distanced and intimate party, but we're very excited. It has sold out, which is great. And I think it's within about less than 24 hours. So there's pent-up demand, and I think it's going to be a great, great night.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be. I think I checked the website and it was like there was a waiting list. I was like, if only if I lived out there, I would have been first in the queue. But
well, you would have been. I should tell you, I now have about 50 brand new best friends. Apparently, Alan, how are you? So no,
I'm just going to take note on that. Alan is my new best friend.
Yes, best friend, Alan. You're my best friend. No, we're. This is what we want to do at Paisley Park. It's not just about celebrating his music and seeing the amazing fashion and the amazing, instruments and kind of sharing in that and exposing that to new audiences. It's also what he did, which was to make the place come alive. And I think you've probably heard me in kind of other outlets and our team just talk about how important it is to do what Prince wanted. He wanted the place to be alive. So this is the best way that we can celebrate that album. And I should say we have other plans, some of which will be kept secret until the last possible moment, just to drive all of you crazy and see if we're installing, I don't know, a new pool in the back or something. But I'm sorry,
an exclusive.
No, I'm sorry, I'm kidding. There's no pool. I'm going to get 25 emails. No, we don't have everything that we do is within that kind of filter, that kind of brand of, it really has to be authentically Prince, meaning, it really has to be something that kind of flows from him. It has to be about great creativity, about great artistry. We don't have to be literally Prince. So not everything is going to literally be Prince. Not every song played on the stage is going to literally be a Prince song. And he wasn't like that either. But it's about being authentic. So so we're excited about this week and over the next few years.
Yeah, I think next week I even know fans that have booked the day off. I think there's going to be lots of fan unboxing videos. I think you're going to see a lot of.
It's going to be great.
I think you're going to see a lot of fans, taking pictures with the album. I think it's going to be great to see what people are going to respond with next week. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I've pre-ordered mine. I'm just I'm going to be staring outside the letterbox. I'm going to be ready.
Indeed.
So speaking of COVID, what challenges have there been with Paisley Park? Yeah,
I mean, it's been obviously a really tough year for everyone. Although we've been very lucky and been very diligent on making sure that our staff and guests are safe and we've been very good about that. It's just been a very tough time, I think, just overall. We've been taking the lead of the health department. We've been taking the lead from our parent company and also just looking at what other comparable places are doing. So we were closed for quite a long time. When the states made the decision to open up, we had to look at that carefully and decide if that was right for us. So we ultimately did reopen, but we've done it in a way that is not just within guidelines, but actually initially a bit stricter. So we're at 25% capacity for the tours. That has meant that in many ways, when we do have tours, it's a bit more intimate. Instead of having 35 to 40 people, now you have 10.
Okay.
But that has worked out well. So when you're on a tour, we're very, very conscious about there being social distancing. There are a lot of notes. There's circles on the floor. And in order to go on a tour, you need to wear a mask. We actually put in a mandatory mask mandate before anyone else did, actually, because that was really important to us. And we do all the safety protocols before you buy tickets. And once you come onto the property. So we've been very conscious of the fact that we have a responsibility to our community and to each other to be safe. Thus far, which is great, it's been going really, really well. We were one of the first institutions to reopen. It has been overwhelmingly positive. We're optimistic. We're optimistic that over the next several months, that with our protocols in place, that we will be in a good place to make sure that everyone is safe. On the live event side, obviously, we've had to make a pretty dramatic change in terms of our live events. As you know, over the last year, since the new team came on, we've been really ramping up again. As Prince would have wanted, we've really been ramping up the live concerts and kind of much more kind of ongoing, both programming and concerts and films. We've obviously had to stop most of that. Instead, what we're doing, which we just started a couple of weeks ago, is we did bring back a more kind of smaller, socially distanced After Dark, which is a very popular, I'm not sure if you've been or not, but it's a kind of post-party, which is really, really fun. So we ended up bringing that back. That did really, really well for us in terms of people really enjoyed it, and it was small.
Yeah, that was last week, wasn't it?
Yes, the 5th. And as I said, for next week, we are doing a much more kind of intimate party. So we are well within the guidelines, and we're going to continue to kind of bring those smaller events to life to the extent that we feel that we can keep everyone safe. I must say that the guests, both on the live event side as well as just tours, they've been really terrific. They've been there. I'm sure you've been following here in the States. There's a lot of there's some controversy about masks, and there seems to be a video on YouTube each night about various people protesting masks and people being difficult. We don't face that. I think that when people have come to Paisley Park, I think they very, very much respect it. It is a sacred place. And so we've been just really, really pleased with how wonderful the fans have been. So we will continue to do that. We will follow the guidelines, but we'll make our own assessment as to if the guidelines allow for more people, then we will make our own assessment as to whether or not we think that's the right call. But our overall goal is that we want people to be safe, and we want people to really spend some time at Paisley Park, and it does give people a chance to kind of get away a little bit and kind of visit and go back to the things that make Prince so amazing and allow us to kind of celebrate that, even if it's just for a few hours.
Yeah, I think with fans, when it comes to Paisley Park, they will always be respectful, because that was his house, and
Exactly.
they want the safety of the staff. And when I was out there last year, I thought the staff were incredible, and they were very, very friendly, and holding boxes of tissues, and it was they're very, very, they were very, very good, and I couldn't, there was no flaws. It was they were so respectful, and I think the fans were respectful as well. So it was it was great. The film series, I know you did the film series in January. There was three films, correctly? And is there any plans to bring that back at all?
Yes. Yes. Subject to the kind of capacity issues, yes. What we're trying to do when we launched the film series is, it was important to us to do a couple things early on, right? I mentioned that we wanted to do some things that would kind of bring more things back to the fans, such as the love symbol and some of the other kind of guest-facing changes. But it was also important for me and the team to kind of reset a little bit as to what the programming approach is. And as I mentioned, it was about going back to what Prince wanted. He wanted it to be, a place of creativity, to kind of showcase great art. And so it was important for me in particular and for our team that we really wanted to kind of open the aperture a little bit about what is Paisley Park and what can happen at Paisley. I looked at the film series as being a nice way to just, do what Prince did, right? Prince was known as being a great host. I'm glad to hear that you had a good experience, because one of the things that's been really important for us is that, and one of the things that I knew about Prince and I've heard a lot about, is that when he came to his house, he treated you like a guest. He treated you like he was happy that you were there, and you had to show respect and don't goof off, but
No.
be good. But he wanted to treat you like you were special, and he would have movies, and he would entertain people. So the film idea was, how do we open the aperture about what Paisley Park is? So what we did was we decided to focus on films initially that were films that either had a tie to Prince. They weren't literally about Prince, but they're either tied to him, or we felt that they were the kinds of movies that he would say, come on over and watch this, right? He was famous for having, film parties of kids' movies, or Nemo.
Yeah,
So
Finding Nemo, yeah.
Exactly. So we ended up finding 3 films. So it was basically, we went through kind of the best concert films, the best music on films. And so the first one was called Watch Stacks. Watch Stacks, if you've not seen it, I think you should definitely see it. It very clearly influenced, a lot of the artists influenced Prince. And that was a film shot right after the Watts riots in LA. And it's just everyone from, it included Mavis, it included Rufus. It was just, it's just a nice kind of snapshot into the 70s. And the notion is that it did influence Prince. And there's one scene in particular with this dancer, and it was, he very much kind of, and when you see it, you can kind of see Prince in it. We felt that was a really kind of key film. The second film in the series was Amazing Grace. And that was a film that obviously came out about a year ago, but we felt it was the kind of film that if Prince were here, he would invite everyone over to see it. And that is a very moving film. It is Aretha, unvarnished, and just amazing. And then the last film in the series was Dave Chappelle's Block Party. Which when you see it now, you realize a lot of the artists that he influenced were in that. So we felt it was just a nice way to kind of offer different content, and again, to open that aperture. We do plan to bring other films like that back. We're waiting a little bit to see how it ends up playing out. But and actually next week is our first kind of effort to do that, because one thing is that we can bring theatrical films, but we can also bring concerts. Yeah. So next week's screening is a way to kind of maximize that. That's Prince's screen, that's his house, that's the sound system. So we'll keep doing things like that.
Yeah, I thought it was a great idea. I think the fans appreciate seeing that there's things going on at Paisley. I think they want to see it active. They want to see it being used, like you said, with creativity and stuff like that. And it is, I do believe it is films that he would have shown or would have liked. Absolutely. Or would have promoted. So I'm glad to hear that that's continuing. Oh right, what's any future plans for Paisley Park and celebration next year? Is there anything you can?
Yes, we are planning on celebration for next year. We have not made an announcement yet. We will make announcements as soon as we're in a place where we think that it's appropriate to make those. But yes, we are planning it. More details to come. This is a really kind of important year for celebration and for Paisley. So we have a couple ideas in particular that are coming to a life that we'll be excited to share. Essie and our team will make sure she reaches out to you and the other groups quickly. But yeah, I think celebration is just really important. I think it's one of those instances in which it really gives an opportunity for fans, whether you're in the UK, or, your other parts of Europe, whether you're in other parts of this country. It really gives people the chance to come back and hear music, literally Prince music, but it's also about, as you know, people that he influenced. It's other artists. I mean, it's really just a pretty great moment. We decided to move it from April to June last year, before COVID, because our feeling and a lot of the friends and family felt the same, that we're at that point now where it really is about celebration. And so we are planning to bring it back. We'll give more details soon. But in addition to celebration, what you will start seeing are other smaller moments. We do think it's important that this be a kind of creative lab, and so we have made some plans for the end of this year as well as early next to do smaller concerts, to do these kind of smaller moments. They will have to be smaller because of COVID, but they'll still be amazing artists. So we will be doing more of that. But we're also doing two other kind of really important things. One is, Paisley Park was, and in particular the soundstage, that was designed to be a working studio.
Yeah. And
so we started this the beginning of this year. We've really turned it into a place that can become a working industry venue. We had pre-COVID had already started to bring back production. We've had photo shoots in there. We've had a television pilot shot in there. We're working with the kind of local creative community to offer up the space, sometimes at smaller rates. I'm sorry, not smaller, but lower rates to encourage local film companies. We also are one of the only, I believe we're the only soundstage. I know the only soundstage in this market, but in particular, I think until east of Chicago, we're really one of the only viable spaces. So we actually have started to allow and encourage other artists to rehearse, to do concert run-throughs and things like that. So that's one area in which we will continue to do more. And then in the other area, which we've not been as public about, other than Beck, is that we have slowly started to, on a very selective basis, ask top tier artists to use the soundstage. I'm sorry, to use the space to both record. So in A and B, we recently, about 2 weeks ago, had I can't tell you who it is, but a very, very top artist.
Not even your best friend.
I'm your new best friend. Okay. I can't get one of my best friends. But we have a very, very prominent artist was just here. And he recorded, till the wee hours of the morning. And we want to give respect to him, because when it's announced, he'll be able to say that he made it here at Paisley. But that's the kind of thing that we can't always talk about, but that's what Prince would have wanted. He invited his friends over to make music. So those are the two other areas. Is kind of becoming a production hub, and then secondly, it's really bringing back for artists to record, create. That's the stuff that I think will continue to happen. It may not be as public, it may not be seen, but that's a really important part of what Prince wanted and what we also want.
Yeah, and I think that's what he, like you said, I think that's what he would have wanted.
Absolutely.
And it's keeping his legacy alive. It's keeping Paisley Park alive, and you're getting revenue in, and and it's helping with new releases and stuff like that. So, from the fans' point of view, it's always great to hear. And the Beck thing I remember that was very, very cool. And I remember the album artwork where it was like purple themed car, and
right.
it was very clever. But I think, this past year, I think there's definitely been a notice with the difference of, the positivity, the creativity, the marketing. I think the social media has been amazing. Like I said, with that, the box video yesterday, and how you could see the actual product, and the people's unboxing videos next week, I think are going to be very creative. I think they're going to, you set the bar, and I think the fans are going to be like, oh, okay. So I think, I think next week, with everything going on, this past year, it's given fans something to look forward to, and I appreciate, everything that you've done this past year, and the team, and the communication with the fans and things like this. I think is really great to see, and it's a great positive thing, and it's keeping his legacy alive, keeping his music alive. So from me and the fan community worldwide, and the UK, I think we appreciate all the efforts that's been made. And fans in the UK get very jealous when they see the After Dark parties, and it's like,
well,
it's
I mean, we have plans at some point once the world gets back to a different place. I think it's important that Prince didn't just play music here; he played it everywhere. So, we do have longer. We and the overall Prince estate and family have plans to expand and to bring the music closer to the fans. So. So at some point soon, hopefully, we'll be able to kind of do a bit more outreach. But I really do appreciate what you're saying, and I think that the feedback has been really helpful for us, because all of us do come in as true fans, and since the estate has really kind of, we've all rolled into one, although, I should be clear, I don't want to take credit for what the other parts, I could never have made that video, but I think that just overall, I think what you're seeing is every part of the estate is just so passionate about this and really trying to be responsive to the fans. And so at Paisley, we do our part to really support that. And it is great to hear feedback, good and bad. It's, this is about, keeping his legacy. And one thing I should say too, that's really important for us that we talk about a lot. We don't really want to just have a building that shows old dusty artifacts. That is not what he wanted. That is not what we want. And so, despite the different challenges, our responsibility is to keep the place going and bring in energy and freshness. One of the things I'd say is that next time you are here, you will see a lot of changes in it, and I'm hoping that you find them all positive, not just the icon outside, but in terms of the actual both exhibits and the narrative. We've added some things in the tour to give a bit more context in terms of his background, and new video, new things from the archive. Because we're all one now, it's really opened up the opportunity to just kind of showcase so much more. So I'm excited about having you come back and others who've not been there in the past year. I think you'll be very pleased.
That's really good to hear, and I think the fans. I think it's come across that the estate and Paisley Park are definitely listening to the fans and the interactions. I think that you can definitely feel that through the social media and the website and everything like that. So I think job well done. So
thank you. And I've made 50 brand new friends. So I'm sorry, 50 brand new best friends. So
51, yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Exclusive access to the swimming pool.
We're not building fans. We're not building a swimming pool. Okay. Yeah, just to be clear.
Is there anything else you'd like to share, or anything else you'd like to talk about? Oh, I did have one.
I'm sorry. Yes.
One additional question I think I've missed. With the Sign of the Times reissue, is there any plans to do anything with the Sign of the Times room? Is there anything being added to that, or anything like that?
Yes. As part of the event next week and the kind of overall changes, yes. We've actually added a few more items from that era that we're putting on display as of next Friday. We found some other terrific artifacts. So it'll be not just the room itself, but we're actually kind of highlighting more of that era. And so when you're on site, you'll see some other really cool items. It's I don't want to give a lot of it away, but yes, you'll see more kind of items from that era that not just from the album, but from the tour in that time period that will give it just a really nice, rich kind of context. So we're excited about people seeing that also.
Okay, that's really good to hear.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
great.
I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
You shared a lot of detail, and it's really good that there's this communication between the fans and the estate. I think that's incredibly important, and it's really good to have this conversation. I thank you so much for your time. And if you need anything from the fan community or me personally, your best friend, I am here for you 24/7.
Okay, I just want you to see if you can tell that I'd like to fly out there again. I'd like to fly again. So anything that you could work on.
Yeah, if you're ever in London, I will take you out for fish and chips. I promise.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure, and I'm really excited, and I'm excited to have fans from the UK and from everywhere be able to come back, and I think you'll all be very, very pleased. So thank you very much.